Right on the heels of my most recent presentation regarding redomestication, that is the legal process of changing an existing company's state of domicile to a new state while keeping the EIN intact, as well as maintaining existing operations, as well as relationships and vendors with clients. I have more interesting news to share on this timely topic. But first, a brief introduction. My name is Chad Cummings, and I am an attorney and certified public accountant serving clients in matters of business, tax, and commercial law throughout the great states of Florida and Texas. I am Chief Executive Officer of the multi-state law firm Cummings and Cummings Law. And in addition to my day job, I also teach business and tax law at the university level. I hold 4 degrees, including 2 law degrees, together with a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in taxation, in addition to 10 professional licenses and certifications covering accounting, tax, audit, and of course, the law. My firm website is www.cummings.law. Now, with that out of the way, something remarkable is happening in American business law right now, and it is reshaping permanently where the nation's most influential and fastest growing companies call home. I have been tracking a growing exodus away from the state of Delaware, the state that for over half a century was the undisputed capital of corporate America, at least for legal purposes. For decades, Delaware's Chancery Court was the gold standard for predictability, efficiency, and respect for stakeholder decisions. But that reputation has been sullied and is evaporating fast, and businesses are no longer willing to gamble their futures or the futures of their owners on a system that feels increasingly unpredictable and politicized. The latest departure announced today is a major one. Coinbase has announced that it is moving its state of domicile from Delaware to Texas. In a Wall Street Journal op-ed, Coinbase's chief legal officer explained that the company's decision was about finding, quote unquote, more predictable opportunities for shareholders and customers alike. He praised the Lone Star State for offering efficiency and legal stability through recent corporate law reforms that improve governance flexibility and judicial consistency. In his words, Texas offers efficiency and predictability, while Delaware's reliance on ad hoc quick fixes and activist rulings no longer inspire confidence in Delaware. The move of Coinbase is part of a broader shift that now includes Tesla, SpaceX, and a wave of other companies, large and small. Tesla shareholders voted recently to move the company's state of domicile to Texas from Delaware after a Delaware judge voided Elon Musk's $56 billion compensation package, a ruling Musk himself has publicly denounced as politically motivated. SpaceX soon followed. Other major firms, including, for example, Dropbox, TripAdvisor, Roblox, Pershing Square, The Trade Desk, AMC Networks, Madison Square Garden Sports, and Fidelity National Financial, have all moved out of Delaware and many of them to Texas, and the list continues to grow by the week. To understand this development, you have to appreciate what redomestication really means. It is not a publicity stunt. It is a legal process permitted by statute of transferring a company's charter or articles of organization from one state to another whilst maintaining its federal employer identification number, contracts, and credit history. Redomestication allows a company to retain all of its operational and financial continuity, vendors, employees, and obligations, while escaping the jurisdictional risks of a hostile or erratic former state. For companies like Coinbase or Tesla, this is not just about tax savings, although that may be a part of it. It is more about legal certainty and predictability in an age where courts and legislatures are increasingly unpredictable. As an attorney and CPA, I have spent quite a bit of time guiding businesses through this very delicate process. The motivations are often the same as those of the giants now leading this charge. Whether it is a professional services firm in Manhattan or a fintech startup in California, they all desire to operate in a jurisdiction that rewards competence rather than punishes success. They want courts that enforce contracts rather than reinterpret them through the lenses of politics. Texas and Florida particularly stand out because they have taken the opposite approach. That is to say, they have codified predictability. Their statutes clearly allow inbound redomestications, though frankly, not a lot of attorneys are aware of this process. And Florida and Texas also impose no personal income tax, and their courts are not necessarily swayed or at least as subject to certain ideological crosswinds that have overtaken those other jurisdictions. In Texas, particularly, recent corporate reforms have enhanced governance flexibility and improved the speed of judicial decision making. In Florida, compliance costs, like in Texas, are minimal, and the state has deliberately cultivated and continues to cultivate a legal environment that attracts businesses large and small, seeking refuge from regulatory chaos. But I also caution every client, redomestication is not a DIY effort. It must be done correctly by somebody who knows what they are doing. The sequence of filings as well as the substance of those filings matter. A single misstep, such as filing a certificate of conversion before seeking legal counsel, can inadvertently dissolve the entity or trigger an IRS recognition event. Those mistakes can erase years of corporate history, terminate contracts, and jeopardize tax elections, such as a Subchapter S election. Therefore, professional guidance is not optional, it is existential. The announcement of Coinbase is significant not only because of who they are, but because of what they symbolize. We have reached another inflection point in American business law today. Delaware once rose to prominence by offering stability when New York and New Jersey faltered. Now, states like Texas and Florida are doing the same, supplanting Delaware and taking its throne. This is how corporate governance evolves. The mantle passes to jurisdictions that adapt first. Even Musk, who has long been outspoken about judicial and political activism, celebrated Coinbase's move publicly. He reposted news of the shift with a simple message: Coinbase, Delaware has left us with little choice. That sentiment captures the mood of many business owners across the country. They are not angry. This is not a team red or team blue issue. They're just pragmatic. They want clarity, neutrality, and predictability. And when those disappear, capital votes with its feet. This is why at my law firm, we have seen a 225% spike in redomestication inquiries following recent high-profile elections in New York City and Virginia. Entrepreneurs and business owners are not waiting for things to get better. They are done waiting. Instead, they are taking control of their financial destinies. They are voting with their feet and with their wallets, moving to jurisdictions that protect what they have built. And they are doing so not just for tax reasons, but frankly, for survival. We are now watching the beginning of a new business map of America. Certain states will win, others will lose. It is not political, as I said, it is structural and it is practical. States that prioritize economic freedom and legal clarity will inherit the nation's entrepreneurial energy. Those that do not will continue to hemorrhage both people and businesses. In short, what Coinbase, Tesla, and so many others are doing is not rebellion. It's not a political statement. It is restoration. They are restoring the idea that a business should operate under laws that are consistent, fair, and efficient. As I tell every client who calls me about redomestication, this is not about escape per se, rather, it is about preservation. They are not so much running from something as they are running toward something better. And increasingly, that something better is spelled TEXAS or FLORIDA. Again, my name is Chad Cummings, and I hope that you found this information helpful. As always, the information in this general video is exactly that. It's general in nature and is not legal advice, because legal advice, by definition, must be specific to a particular set of facts and circumstances. Should you have any questions regarding this information or the content of any of my earlier presentations, please visit my firm website at www.cummings.law to schedule time for a consultation. I look forward to the opportunity to speak with and perhaps even work with you very soon.